This is the last realm of Europe's virgin and old-growth forests, home of the European Union's largest populations of wolves, lynx, brown bears and wild cats. Romania is at the core of Europe's biodiversity and natural richness. Over 15% of the country's forests, pastures and meadows are included in protected areas in Natura 2000 sites. Natura 2000 sites are a European-wide network of protected areas supposedly conserved under the EU Habitats and Birds directives. They are designated to protect special habitats and species within Europe. In this way, Romania's untouched wilderness should be protected from the aggressive greed for natural resources. Should be. But what really is happening deep in the mountains and meadows of this biodiversity-rich and incredibly wild country? A border police crew is in pursuit of a suspect car. After a 20-minute chase, the police arrive in a village run by wood mafia that destroyed and illegally cut entire mountains next to the border with Ukraine. The policemen in their car are surrounded by loud and aggressive people.
Stai, mă! Fii atent, ăla face procese verbale din burtă. Ăla dacă era aici, îi împingea vreo două picioare în gură de lua mama dracul din alfabet.
The two attacked policemen were brought to the hospital with serious injuries. The aggressors were sentenced to years in prison because they assaulted the officers. The same aggressors illegally cleared an entire mountain for which they were not held accountable. This is the daily reality in Maramureș, one of the areas most affected by illegal logging in Romania. The devastating effects of the destruction are visible on satellite images. Over 5,000 hectares of forest bordering Ukraine were destroyed by the wood mafia. Nobody cared that these ravaged forests are included in a Natura 2000 site and thus protected by European law.
La granița cu Ucraina au făcut prăpăd și au distrus păduri bogate și veșnice. Diferențele se văd din satelit și toate instituțiile statului știau ce se întâmplă acolo. Cu ani, cotrii noștri au dispărut, iar în locul lor a rămas dezastru, în timp ce vecinii și-au păstrat și gospodărit cu inteligență pădurile lor.
The man in the picture was part of the investigation team that discovered the illegalities inside the Maramureș Natura 2000 site. He states that many investigations and reports are kept in the drawer. With the complicity of prosecutors and police, the wood mafia manages to grow the business in the area and further destroy the mountains. A few tens of kilometres away from this area, another desolate landscape looms over several mountains, an apocalyptic image.
Pe amenajamente, acolo era codul întunecat, dumneata înțelegi, și figura pădure de 150 de ani. Și când m-am dus acolo, era bărdierit tot.
In the last 7 years, the Cluj forestry inspectors discovered an illegal volume of 700,000 cubic metres of wood with a market value of over 60 million euros. The effects on the environment and the damage of nature and biodiversity are immense and impossible to estimate.
După 20 de ani, noi de fapt ajungem într-o perioadă de barbarie forestieră sau, cum au spus unii experți străini, sistemul lui Dracula de management forestier. Sistemul lui Dracula înseamnă nu numai tăierea arborilor, a vegetației forestiere, ci și mai grav, modul de construire a drumurilor de colectare pe acești versanți și de destabilizarea versanților cu niște utilaje total neadecvate și care pe termen lung au o influență devastatoare asupra pădurii.
Jovo Biriș knows about the widespread destruction in Romania's Natura 2000 sites and bitterly says that Maramureș is no exception.
Sunt porțiuni în care, fără îndoială, au dovedit-o și documente oficiale ale organelor de control că sunt în afara normelor silvice și în afara legislației forestiere. Deci este o ilegalitate crasă. Am mai întâlnit și în alte zone, poate nu la această scară, zona Gorjului.
From satellite images, the Natura 2000 site Nordul Gujulului de Vest looks like a shooting target from a shooting range. This remote mountain region was hosting one of the most important clusters of biodiversity-rich natural beech forest in Romania. Today, clear-cuts and sadly looked thin forests are all around where once a fairy tale forest spread. Logging tractors have destroyed the riverbeds and additionally often contaminated them with engine oil. A forest guard from the area claims that out of 5 wooden transports, 2 are made with illegal wood.
Făcea mai multe curse pe același aviz. Încărca, descărca repede și urca rapid în munte și mai făcea unul. Și depozita la un depozit aproape de pădure și rezolvată treaba. Căra toată ziua cu mașini acoperite, lemn de foc, spar lemnele în pădure, acoperi mașina și gata.
Deep in the mountains on the other side where logging is completed, a graveyard of stumps is left. Here, 20 years ago, there were lush primary forests. Now there are only forest rows and wounded, bare slopes.
This kind of management, of course, is not allowed.
You cannot call it management, it is destruction. How can you, as a human being, owner, a landowner, accept that?
There's no logic.
It's no logic.
In fact, there is no logic for how the Romanian state and landowners have destroyed unique European natural forests with an incredible wealth of biodiversity just to convert them into firewood and chipboard, ignoring the fact that these forests are under the protection of the EU's Natura 2000 legislation and that Romania, as an EU member state, should comply with these regulations. But things can be even worse. In the case of Făgăraș Natura 2000 site, the damage is almost equal to the level of disaster in Maramureș, and the logging is still active.
Bună ziua! E cineva? Doamne, ce mizerie au lăsat aici. Au lăsat filtre de ulei. Și bidoane de ulei. Ce criminal, băi, ce criminal, băi.
In this area, over 400 hectares were completely cleared by wood mafia networks right after 2008, when Romania joined the European Union. Roads were dug deep into rocky soil. In order to cover their traces, the thieves paid heavy money to the shepherds in the area to burn the stumps and leave no traces of their illegalities.
N-are să mai puteați cum să găti niște de urs. S-a tăiat ilegal. Iau lei tăiat, deci cumpărați țărițari de pădure ca 20. După ce le tăia, ei mai sfuteau ca 10 hectare. Și când venea cu cozul pe sede, de-a puteau în ceva bani. Dădea poc, să mai vadă unde e ceata, că nu e marcă păceată, nu e nimic.
This is the method used to destroy forest near the Vidraru Dam, an area located in the heart of Făgăraș Natura 2000 site. The documents of the Ministry of Water and Forestry show that in just 3 years, between 2013 and 2015, the volume of logged wood was equivalent to the legal harvesting volume scheduled for the next 40 years.
În locul pădurilor pluriene sau naturale din zona bazinului Vidraru, ca să revin, am găsit zone complet rase, deci fără vegetație forestieră, nu doar că a fost rărită sau ceva, mai puțin de 40-50 de ani am dat peste cap un întreg ecosistem, călcând în picioare pur și simplu normele tehnice și știința silvică.
The impact of destruction in the Făgăraș Natura 2000 site is extreme. Out of 58 priority species for which these sites were designated in 2007, 50% of them are either no longer present or at such critically low levels that their survival on the site is uncertain in the near future. And while logging is recognised by the management plan as one of the main threats for the majority of the priority species, the aggressive logging continues.
Go to the European Court.
Yeah, this is the next step that we should take.
Take one very good example.
In order to stop continuation.
Yeah. How they handle with the Natura 2000.
Each EU member country has committed itself to respect European law and to protect Europe's protected habitats and species from significant deterioration. This also includes protecting these areas from greed and corruption. Unfortunately, Romania has not yet passed this test. It's even worse. State representatives lied in Brussels and claimed that Romania's forests and natural sites are sufficiently protected and in a good state. 3 environmental organisations, EuroNatur Foundation, Agent Green and Client Earth, have been collecting evidence of forest destruction in Natura 2000 sites in Romania for several years and have submitted a complaint to the European Commission back in September 2019. In February 2020, the Commission reacted and sent a first letter to the Romanian government. This means at the start of an infringement procedure where the EU might bring Romania before the court if the member state continues to breach the EU legislation.
400 years, approximately.
I think it's...
You don't believe?
No.
Okay, let's count. Yeah, so he started to chop it up for firewood already.
Yeah.
This is how the forest in Ianu Craiovia Valley looks like, where in 2018, EuroNatur Foundation and Agent Green organised a trip with members of the European Parliament. Thomas Waits is shocked to see 400-year-old beech trees being cut for firewood. These images were shot by a drone above the Domogled Valia Cerne Natura 2000 site, just 300 metres away from primary beech forests included in a UNESCO World Heritage Area. This is the tragic fate of natural forests in Romania's Natura 2000 sites, a country in the European Union that continues to destroy its virgin and old-growth forests. The Prima Faro Natural Forest Inventory, commissioned by EuroNatur Foundation, showed that there are still more than 520,000 hectares of primeval and natural forest left in Romania. It is the largest natural forest treasure in the EU outside of Scandinavia. In the next decades, we will need every square metre of resilient and stable natural forests when the global climate and natural crisis accelerates and the unnatural wood plantations begin to collapse. But the destruction of these extremely valuable natural forests in Romania is proceeding at a great pace. Therefore, the European Union and the Romanian government have to immediately act and save the natural forest treasure of Romania entirely. The time of looking aside is over. The destruction of Romania's forests must be stopped. We owe that to these forests, and we owe it to future generations and those yet to come.